Hello, everyone. I'm Krandall Brantley from Buckeyes Daily. We have plenty of portal updates, including Ohio State picking up one of the best linebackers in the Big Ten out of the portal, some future first round draft picks declared for the draft, and an Ohio State star player could enter the portal soon. So we'll start off with the big time commit. Wisconsin linebacker Christian Aguero committed to Ohio State. Now he made Big Ten honorable mention this past season. Took a visit to Ohio State on Tuesday. That's when they offered him, and he chose Ohio State over Texas. Now Aguero, this is what he did 2025. 49 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 8 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks, and he has 8 career sacks. And so this is very helpful, replacing Sonny Styles and Arvo Reese. This is the main factor in that. And then you have someone that can complement linebacker play alongside Peyton Pierce and future star linebacker Riley Pettyjohn. Now, I still think they can get one more piece to help linebacker unit in a hybrid linebacker that's in the portal right now. So get to that news. Georgia safety Joenel Aguero entered the portal. He started 12 games for Georgia, and he's primarily the star position for Georgia. That's a hybrid safety linebacker role. And so with that, OSU recruited him heavy when he was in high school, and that was prior to him committing to Georgia in 2023. But he was high on the Buckeyes, and he chose Georgia. He picked Georgia over Ohio State and Miami. And this is the time that OSU should really get him. He could make the most impact as a Buckeye if he went to them this year. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining, but he had 39 tackles this year and a big time interception against Tennessee. This could be the replacement for Caleb Downs and also help linebacker unit with more experience and be run stopper as well, but also play safety. I think OSU should really try to get him on campus and see if he can help this defense. Okay. University of Texas San Antonio wide receiver Devin McEwen committed to Ohio State. He had career highs this past season in yards and touchdowns and yards per catch. This is a veteran receiver who will play his top position to play alongside Jeremiah Smith and Chris Henry Jr. They needed that. They have Ennis back, but with losing Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter, they definitely needed to add more depth to the wide receiver room. And he has proven production, not only as a receiver, but as a slot receiver, which OSU needs. And for last year, he had eight touchdowns, and for his career, nearly 1,700 receiving yards. So hopefully I can get DeAndre Moore in Texas. He's still taking visits, but getting McEwen was a great pickup. And Ennis already announced that he will be back next season as well. And there's also reports that Mylan Graham could still stay a Buckeye. And so receiver room, they're more than okay, but they should still be thriving. Considering all the chaos has happened, if they only lose Quincy Porter out of all this, that would be a major win for the Buckeyes. So we'll see if Mylan Graham stays, and we'll see if DeAndre Moore decides to commit to the Buckeyes. Okay. As expected, all of these guys expected to declare for the draft, but now it is official. Arvo Reese declared for the draft, first team All American. He'll be a top 5 pick, and he didn't even start last season. So, special linebacker, having a first team All American, 2 All American linebackers on the same team is legendary, and so they will be missed. Caleb Downs declared for the draft. Star safety, one of the best to ever do it for the Buckeyes. Game-ending tackles, game-ending interceptions. He might not get Caleb Downs in Columbus for the next 10 years. That's how good he was. And him committing to the Buckeyes prior to 2024 season just changed the game. At that point, OSU fans knew they were going to win it all. Once that happened, with all the talent they're having back, everyone returned. All these guys that could for the pros, Jeremiah Smith, and you find out Caleb Downs was going to be a Buckeye, you're like, oh yeah, it's a wrap. So Caleb Downs is declaring. Carno Tate declared for the draft. He'll be wide receiver number 1, in my opinion. Outstanding career and all the accolades that he had. I think the most memorable moment was him battling back from the injury to play in the game, and then having that long touchdown against Michigan, and just ending the game, ending their season. I think that will be the most memorable moment from Carno Tate. Then you have David Igbenogson declared for the draft. Thankfully, he returned this year for senior season. And then lockdown corner, definitely will miss his trash talk and just big time production as a DB. So we'll get to some other news. 2 former Alabama defensive players will visit Ohio State. James Smith, former 5-star, and ranked as a number 1 interior defensive lineman out of the portal, according to 247 Sports. He's 6'3", 297, and he had 26 tackles, 2.5 sacks. But number 1 interior defensive lineman out of the portal, that could be major. We don't know if Keith McDonald will be back, but if you could get him and McDonald, my goodness. And then Kua Russaw, starting edge for Alabama, pass rusher. He could play alongside. He could be a day 1 starter with Bo Atkinson. And both Smith and Russaw are taking visits to Georgia, LSU, Missouri, and Tennessee. So no guarantees there. They have their chance Friday to land both of these former Bama players. Now we'll get to the star player that could leave. Bo Jackson. The portal rumors seem to be legit. According to WBNS TV, running back Bo Jackson may be entering the transfer portal if the Buckeyes cannot meet the desired amount he and his camp are seeking. According to that report, Jackson is seeking an NIL deal that will surpass what Ohio State running backs earned last season. That's Quinshon and Travion, and rival some NFL rookie contracts. So according to Jeremy Birmingham, the request from Bo Jackson is more than what Travion Henderson's salary was the New England Patriots this season, and more than both Travion and Quinshon made in their final year at Ohio State combined. According to SI.com, Bo might be asking for $1.8 million. But that's insane. $1.8 million at the freshman season. So that 2024 duo, they were the best 2 backs in the country outside of Ashton Genty. That's how good they were. And so we'll see how Bo progresses throughout his career. But Trayvon Henderson was better freshman year at Ohio State in 2021 than Bo. I get that Bo had more production, yards, but OSU was pass heavy in 2021. And Trayvon Henderson was more breakaway, home run hitter type player. And Shifty, if you had him open field, no one was catching him. And so I still think Trayvon Henderson was better at this point in his career. And so that being said, Trayvon Henderson was there his senior year and didn't get this amount of money. He might be getting both asking for more money than him and Quinshon combined. And Quinshon, I've been better than him at the Ole Miss prior to transferring to Ohio State. And so, just one, $20 million NIL budget. That's what Ohio State apparently has. That seemed unheard of a couple years ago, but now it's not the same. When you have teams like Texas, Oregon, and maybe Indiana with Mark Cuban that could play ball in the 35-40 million range for NIL. So 20 million might not get done in the future. So also, with Bo demanding nearly 2 million of that, yeah, that's not going to happen. And so with that remains to be true. If that is true, then he's gone. That if OSU gives him 2 million, the portal's still open. So all these agents for OSU star players could come back and renegotiate deals. And then 2 million is done. You get no one else in the portal. They lose another player that's already on the roster at this point. And so with that, I think Bo is gone. And you got OSU is hosting Michigan State running back Mekhi Frazier on Friday. And so another indicator that I think that he is gone. For Bo, maybe they can agree to like a deal under 1.5 million and then offer incentives if Bo Jackson reaches certain milestones like first or second team Big Ten, or some production in the playoff where he goes off for 100, 150 and they win. Maybe you could have an incentive for him to make 2 million in 2027. I don't know, something from there. But based off the reports, I think that Bo is gone if this amount is true. So we get to the Fiesta Bowl. Tonight's video should be about how Ohio State won the Fiesta Bowl and they're advancing to the national title, but that's not the case. Miami beat them last week, and now Miami beat Ole Miss, and they are advancing to the title game in their basically a home game for Miami for the national title. I think that Indiana will beat them in that game. It will be a fantastic game. Maybe fans will be hyped. I think Indiana is a flat-out better team. I think Kirk Cinetti won't get out-coached in that game, and they'll find a way to win. But we'll see what happens with Indiana, Oregon. Never know there. We'll get to some SEC narratives. The committee not only allowed Bama to make the playoff of Notre Dame, which that decision seems more ridiculous every week goes by that Bama made it over Notre Dame. Not only that, though, Bama got the 9th seed. And with that made them play another SEC team, Oklahoma, the 8th seed. So it guaranteed that the SEC team would make the quarterfinals. Then you had Ole Miss playing Tulane, which basically guaranteed Ole Miss, Georgia, another guarantee. The SEC team, at least one, was guaranteed to make the semifinals. And with all that, with the committee, the SEC still did not have a team making the title for the 3rd straight year. And so I'm not going to be on here celebrating if Indiana or Oregon wins, because this is a Big Ten team like SEC fan bases do. But it's kind of clear now the Big Ten is on top, and they are the clear best conference in the country now that every program is allowed to pay players and not just the SEC. It's been going on for a long time. Now, 10 TV reporter Adam King tweeted this: the eventual national champion has ended OSU season in 2020, 2022, 2023, and maybe 2025. Damn. But they got last year's team. That last year's national championship is still cherished, and the road to the Natty for next year is starting now in the portal. We'll see what happens next few days. They can pick up some more major players and be able to retain some star players. So stay tuned for more portal updates for the next few days. All right, go Bucks.